What's up, everybody? Sports and Stuff here. Vince here, co-host Ryan. NFL Week 7. A lot of close matchups this week. Let's get into that video thing. Like, share, and subscribe as always. Support us on Patreon, Apple and Spotify podcasts. One request from some friends and some fellow viewers that I've been asked to explain is just Ryan, do you want to go over just the quick definitions of like some of the terms that we're using, parlay, against the spread, just stuff like that? So, because I think a lot of people who are tuning in are newer to betting and they don't understand what a lot of that is.
I thought they were gonna say, tell Ryan to look in the camera. Yeah,
I mean, I could do that too. No, you go ahead. But I was saying I could look into the camera more often too, but yeah, all good. Why don't you give us a quick breakdown here?
I guess, how do you want me to start? So I guess
just like parlay. What's a parlay?
Well, I guess let me just start with a straight bet. Normally when people say a straight bet, they just mean that solely. Like, you're not putting that with anything, you're only betting on that. So a parlay is where if you really like a team and you want to take them on the money line, and then there's another game on and you really like them and you want to take them on the money line, if they're both favorites, you're probably not going to have the best payout. But if you take both of those and put them together on one bet, you normally get a better payout. So that's kind of the incentive of doing parlays. And there really is, I don't think there is a limit. I think on some of these online apps, they'll let you get up to about 15 legs, I think.
So explain to people what a money line is.
So the money line is essentially just picking which team you like the best, which team's going to win that night. You're not really worried about points. You're not worried about covering. You don't care about the over-under. You're literally just pulling for that team.
Yeah, so for them to basically win straight up. So what does against the spread mean?
So going against the spread is kind of like, I guess, how do I put this? So like, you can really kind of either bet on either side of each team. So like one team, the favorite's going to be, laying a bunch of points, and then the underdog's going to be getting points. So basically when you have like, well, I guess like a -3, that means that the favorite team has to win by 3 points or more, or I guess over 3 points. Would that technically be a push?
Yeah, so example here, first game, Jaguars and Saints. Saints on a lot of books, as we can see here, are -1. So that means if the game were to start 0-0, the score would be 0 to the Jaguars, -1 to the Saints. So that means the Saints have to win at least by more than 1 point. If they win by 1 point, you just get the money back that you bet. And that would be what's called, Ryan said, called a push. Where if they win 24-23, they won by 1 point, but since they were favored by 1, it would be a tie technically. So you get your money back. But if they were to win 26-23, that means they would cover because they won by 3 points when all they needed to do is win by more than 1. So that's an example what against the spread means. Or the other side, as Ryan said, the Jaguars are +1. So that means they already have a point up. So they basically have to win 24-23 or 20, even if they win 23-23, because they get +1, they would win. They just can't lose by more than 1 point. So there you have it, folks. So we've covered money line, we've covered spread, we've covered parlay. To Ryan's point, a money line right now, the Saints are -120, Jaguars are +100. So that means if you bet the Jaguars +100, you get double your money, whatever you bet. But if you get the Saints, it's a multiplier of, I think it's, what's the multiplier, like 1.2 or something?
I'm trying to see your screen. What's the number, -110?
-120.
Yeah, so all that the easiest way to look at that is just if it's a minus 120, if you put up $100. Well, I guess if it's a minus 120, you have to put up $120 to win 100 on that
Here,
bet.
can you see that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the minus means they're the favorite, so you win less money. So typically with a money line, if like the Bills
Well, that's
are
the same
minus,
thing with the juice too. Like they're making you pay like more on that, I guess, just because it's such a like most likely outcome.
yes, the Bills are minus 450 on FanDuel. So if you bet a lot of money, you wouldn't get that big of a payout because the Bills are a lot more likely to beat the Patriots. But if you want to do what's called a parlay, like we were talking about, you can do the Bills minus 450, the Saints minus 124, put that on what's called a two-leg parlay, so both teams would have to win, and then you get a better payout. So those are the basics of betting. I guess the other thing we could talk about is the total. That's pretty straightforward. It's just the total points scored in the game between the two teams. You can do it for the game. You can do it for a half.
You
Um,
can do team total points.
yeah, you can do individual team total points. So the over under. So it has to be over under 40 for this Jaguars Saints. So if they win, the Saints win 23-20. That would be over. That'd be 43 points, and you'd win your bet. So yeah. All right. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, hopefully that clears things up for some people. Any other questions, feel free to put those in the comments below, and we'll try to answer them the best we can.
Let's get on to some NFL.
Yes, sir. All right. All right. Jaguars, Saints. Saints have the trend. I think the last 12 games or 13 games the Saints have played, they've all been under. It's a Thursday night primetime game. Primetime games, especially on Thursday night, are typically under. The over-under in this game has actually moved. It was for a lot of books, it was at
40
39, and now it looks like that
started at
number's
40.
moved up to 40. I'm probably going to take that now. I was waiting for that number to go up. I'm going to go under. Like Caesars, DraftKings, BetMGM, they mostly have under 40. Um,
What's the line now?
well, it's 40. It was 39 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So that means that it's better chance of it being under. I was going to take the under 39 anyway, but now it's moved up to 40. I would probably take the under here. Saints have a great defense. The Jaguars, inconsistent. We don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is playing in this game. He's still questionable. So, and it's at the Saints. Derek Carr struggles in the red zone, so the Saints kick a lot of field goals. We look at the spread here. Saints are -1 and the Jaguars are +1. DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars. Any thoughts here, Ryan?
I kind of like the Saints here. Saints -1 on the spread. Mainly just because the Jaguars, they had a couple good games in London. They came back. They had another really good game. I just don't think they're going to keep it up here. I think the Saints defense is going to get to them a little bit. Saints will probably get a little lucky on offense. I think you're right. We are probably going to see a low scoring game. I feel like there's going to be a lot of turnovers. But I think the Saints would pull ahead, though, if I was going to pick a side.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I think the Saints will bounce back here. It's a bounce back spot for them after
And
losing to the
Trevor
Texans.
Lawrence possibly out or definitely out. I didn't even check.
Yeah, and the Saints. I think he's still questionable, so his status is up in the air, and they're at home, so they're in their home in the dome, so they play well
On
always there.
Thursday night.
Yep. All right, Browns Colts. Speaking of a low scoring game,
Where's she at?
so the spread right now is 2.5. The Browns are favored by 2.5 points. Colts are getting +2.5 here. DraftKings is +3, -3. But most books it's at 2.5. I mean, the over under I think is like,
40.
it's also at 40 right now.
Yeah.
Man, I should have waited. I think I took that number at 39, but I knew I didn't care. I was like, this is going to be a low scoring game. Both defenses are outstanding. Both have backup quarterbacks playing. And as we saw the Browns and the 49ers, that was a really low-scoring game, 19-17. So I think it's going to be something similar with Indianapolis and Cleveland. Do you agree with me there?
On the under, I guess.
Or yeah, just the over/under. Or do you think it's
Yeah,
going to go
overall,
over 40?
Going to be a lower scoring game. I mean, I think they're probably going to come out. Both teams are probably going to score quickly, but I see it falling apart quickly. Like you said, they have good defenses, and I think the defenses jump right back on it. I mean, I'm tempted to take the Colts here, but
I am too.
I think I was on the Colts last week, and what an awful mistake.
Well, again, man, it's week to week. It's a bounce back game for the Colts. The Browns are coming off a high, beating the 49ers.
Yeah, that's another thing that would help me take the Colts here is, I mean, teams have a great week or have a great win. The last win, they don't tend to play as well the next week. So, I mean, yeah, I'd lean towards the Colts, but I haven't officially took a side yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd lean Colts as well. I could see the Browns winning like 17-16. I'll take the plus 2.5 here for the Colts. I like that bet. They're at home. I mean, they obviously could win straight up. It's going to be a close game. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored again. 2 back-to-back slugfests. All right. Next game, not going to be much different, I don't think. Bills and the Patriots. Bills looked absolutely atrocious against the Giants and barely won. They got lucky. A no call at the end of the game. The Giants screwed up the goal line situation at the end when they ran the ball with no timeouts and 14 seconds left in the half, and they didn't get another chance to snap the ball, so they didn't even score any points. They ended up losing that game 14-9. And the Bills' offense, the Giants' defense just ate them up. So Josh Allen's very inconsistent. He plays up and down to his competition. Patriots are really bad, so this might be another trap game. On the other hand, they're coming off a struggle game, so maybe they're really pissed off and they're just going to blow the Patriots out, which I could also see happening because the Patriots are horrible. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I still got the Patriots on auto fade. I mean, I really don't even care what the spread is. I'm definitely on the Bills here. I also kind of like the over in this game. If you notice, a lot of the overs this week are set really low.
Yeah, dude, they're crazy low.
I don't know if you also noticed, but I think the under hit in damn near every game last week. So that's a big reason for that. I think the Bills here, though, are just going to tear up the Patriots. Like, I can definitely see the Patriots pulling off some way of putting points on the board, so I'm really not worried about them contributing 7 to maybe 10 for the whole game. But I could totally see the Bills scoring 3 touchdowns in the first half and then coming out and just jacking a touchdown right away in the second half.
Right.
You're pretty much at the over.
You're absolutely right. I was going to say I could see this game being 38-10. Like that's how I could definitely see that. Yeah. I think Patriots don't score more than 10 points in this game because the Bills defense is really good too. And Mac Jones is inept. He's just bottom of the barrel.
And there's still people that are probably going to be on the Patriots, though. So there's a chance this line may come down a little bit. Maybe
the only reason why they'd be on the Patriots is because of the big spread. That's it. That's it. I mean, there's no one picking them straight up.
I mean, really, Patriots are only 1-5 on the spread this year, so I wouldn't be like rushing to bet this for them.
Auto fade.
Bills 3-3 to the spread.
Yeah. Any other thoughts here before we move on? All right. Raiders and the Bears. This one I'm kind of like, I don't even want to bet this game. Raiders and the Bears are both terrible teams. Raiders are 3-3. The Bears are 1-5. The Raiders somehow are a favorite because the Bears are just that bad.
The Bears are 1-4-1 to the spread.
And Justin Fields is also questionable with his thumb. Who knows if he's actually going to play or not.
And then the Raiders 3-2-1 to the spread. but generally over the past couple seasons, the Raiders have not been the best to bet on in the spread. So I feel like
They
we're
barely
either,
covered on a safety last week against the Patriots.
huh?
They barely covered last week on a safety against the Patriots at the end of the game.
Yeah, but
So many people who had the Patriots plus 3.5 were just pulling their hair out. It's like Mac Jones, the one thing you can't do is take a safety there.
and I really wasn't even sweating it. I just knew something was going to happen and I was going to get the cover.
Yeah. So the only thing I would say is I would lean the Raiders -3 only because Justin Fields is questionable. He's not going to be healthy, regardless if he plays or not. I think the
Man,
over-under in this game is like 37.5.
yeah, that's what I
Yikes.
wanted to know. Yeah, I feel like even for this game, I feel like that total may be a little too low. I'm kind of not really trying to take a side in this game. I think it's probably going to end up being somehow. I think the Bears are going to pull the upset and just everyone's going to be like, what the hell again? But I don't know. I just feel like something's going to happen here. Maybe even the Bears just cover, which would still be incredible. But I feel like I'm going to eventually. I'm not going to say, I don't know. I was going to say the over, but now I'm kind of thinking, oh, it's probably going to be the under. The Bears won't score any points. I don't know.
Are you gonna zig while everyone else is or zagging or zag where everyone else is zigging, however
I,
that phrase goes?
I'm
Everyone
most
going
likely
unders.
I'm most likely not going to bet this game, but
Oh,
I'm I really don't even have a good take on it. I mean, I just think this is one where, like, unofficially, I think the Bears are probably going to end up covering
yeah.
just because they're playing the Raiders and the Bears have home field advantage. I feel like this is a spot where they get another uh, at least a cover.
Next game here, you got Commanders at the Giants. Commanders -2.5. Commanders were outgained by Atlanta by twice as many yards, but they forced a bunch of turnovers. Their defense is one of those bend not break where they give up a ton of yards, but they also turn the ball over a lot. So the Giants haven't scored a touchdown in I think like 50 quarters or something like some ridiculous stat. Like I think the Commanders could cover -2.5 here. I would lean that. I wouldn't be confident with that. I have to feel it out later in the week, see if the line moves at all. But I just don't see a ton of value in this game. I mean, the only thing I would say is -2.5 for the Commanders. I don't think the Giants, regardless of who's starting,
Is Daniel Jones playing?
he's still questionable. Right now, it would be Tyrod Taylor. Technically, would be the starter.
Jeez.
And Sam Howell looks pretty good. I mean, he's got a strong arm and he has good pocket presence and can get out of sacks. I mean, but the reason why I'm a little hesitant is because the Giants' defense looked really good against the Bills. The Giants' defense finally played well. Like they hadn't played well at all. So it could be a letdown game where they don't
It
play as
was
well against the Commanders after they got super hyped for the Bills. But
that was the first game Daniel Jones was out, right?
yeah,
I think that had a lot to do with the pet players' mentality too, because they were like, "Hey, we have a chance. We don't know how this guy's gonna do."
you
I
know
mean,
what? That's a
we've
good
seen
point.
him play, we've seen him play before, but like, I mean, that specific night they didn't know if he was gonna bomb tank. Like we didn't know, but I mean, I kind of think there is a little bit of hope with the Giants if Daniel Jones is out. So like, this is probably another game I'm gonna stay away from. I just feel like there's better games to bet on right now.
He's getting paid $35 million a year more than Tyrod Taylor is.
You think Aaron Jones is coming back? Super off topic, but
For the Packers?
yeah. He was on
I
the sideline without any cast or nothing, throwing the football.
I think he'll be back in the next couple weeks. I don't think they're going to rush him back for this week.
I'm
Um,
curious if Aaron Rodgers comes back. Do the
oh, you mean
Jets
Aaron
have?
Rodgers, not Aaron Jones?
Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
Yeah,
I said that
Jones is
wrong.
with the Packers. He's also been out. So yeah, just lucky. You were lucky to be able to be right there too. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I think will come back probably like the last 4 games of the season or something. I know he's doing his holistic healing.
If he
Whatever he's
if he
doing seems
comes
to be
back,
working.
if he comes back, are the Jets going to get into the playoffs and make a run for the Super Bowl?
Unless he injures his Achilles again, I wouldn't put it past them.
I think
A
that
lot of
could
people
be-
are saying that the Jets should trade for Kirk Cousins.
I think they just wait until. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to play at some point.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, no, all good. No, that's an interesting conversation because it's like, do you wait and just keep going with Zach Wilson, or do you trade for Kirk Cousins now because you don't know Aaron Rodgers' timetable, even though he's saying that he'd come back? It's like, it's one thing to be able to stand and throw a ball. It's another thing to be able to play at the NFL level at your highest performance to be able to get them into a deep run in the playoffs. All right, Falcons and Bucks, plus 2.5 for the Falcons. Buccaneers lost 20-6 to Detroit. Falcons lost 24-16 to the Commanders. Desmond Ridder was making really bad decisions. Threw off his back foot his last pick to seal that game in the red zone. And it's at Tampa Bay, so it's not in Atlanta. This one, I not seeing a ton of value here. I could see both teams are coming off losses. I think the Bucks can probably. I would lean Bucks here to cover. They played a good Detroit team. The Falcons are not nearly as talented. I think they could win. They could win by a field goal. Baker Mayfield's playing better than Desmond Ridder, so, and the Buccaneers have better receivers. The Falcons have Drake London and Kyle Pitts, but the Bucks with Godwin and Mike Evans, better receiving combo there. Any thoughts here?
What's the line at right now? Is it still 2.5?
Yeah.
Dang.
Were you hoping it would go up?
If this line goes up to 3, I kind of like the Falcons here.
Oh yeah, +3. I would say that's a fair bet. I don't
That's
know if
what
I'd take
kinda
that, but I
waiting
could see
for.
that.
I was kind of waiting for it, but like at 2.5, it's hard to say. I mean, I did kind of like the Falcons to cover, but I probably wouldn't take them at 2.5 because I feel like this is a field goal game. Like this
Yeah.
is probably going to come down to like the last possession, and it's probably going to be a field goal.
Same divisional game. It's a divisional game too, so those are always close.
Yeah. So there's a chance that the under may hit in this too. Forgot about that because it's set at 38 right now. I feel like it's when they set
Well,
it
right
that
now
low,
actually it's 37.
Yeah, I feel like the under is getting hammered right now.
Yeah, it is. All right. Next game here, we got Lions at the Ravens. Ravens have the best right now, the best pass rush. They are like tied for first or top 2 in sacks as a team. Jared Goff has not faced any good teams in his last 5 starts, especially with good defenses. They're on the road. Jared Goff plays much better in the dome. One thing, Jared Goff, he's been playing really well, and I get that he's great against the spread, but he hasn't faced a pass rush like this, and you get him off his spot. Plus, their line's a little bit banged up. Ravens, I think, can put up some points on this Lions defense. I think Lamar's always had success against the Lions. And, yeah, I think the Ravens win by 4 points. Ryan, I think you disagree with me on this one.
I mean, I think the Ravens have a good shot at winning this game. I'm not sure if they cover, but I'm more leaning towards the under in this game. This is going to be a close matchup. The Lions don't play well against the Ravens. The Ravens play down to whoever the heck they're playing. So to me, I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game. The Ravens are probably going to pull off the victory. It'll probably end up just being by a final touchdown with the
It's
game
also the
already
wind. The weather is going to be bad. Wind gusts are supposed to be like 15 to 20 miles an hour throughout the game.
This is a home game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Baltimore. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards the under.
Ravens hadn't played a home game in like They played at the
And oh, I forgot about that. They're also traveling from London. Do you
yeah.
think that's going to have any kind of effect on them by not taking the bye week?
I mean, I'm sure it is. Um, they haven't. Their last home game was the game I went to, and they lost to the Colts, but that was in terrible weather too, and that was a low scoring game. It was 19-16. So I could see the under on this one too. I mean, it's what 42.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 42 and a half.
Lamar also doesn't do great as a favorite, but in this situation, he covered last week against the Titans. I think he plays well against the Lions. I think they'll cover.
Love getting those early London wins.
Absolutely, man. It made my NFL watching experience a lot more peaceful, less stressful getting that out of the way. Seahawks and Cardinals. Seahawks are -7.5 at home. I think they bounce back after playing poorly against the Bengals and still having a chance to win. And the Cardinals are just trash. So I think the Seahawks can cover here by 10 points. I don't like the Cardinals in this matchup. Joshua Dobbs has no promise, and he's just a. I mean, Kyler Murray was back at practice. I don't know how good he'll be. Kyler Murray or Josh Dobbs, give me the Seahawks. Disagree?
Man, it's a hard one because the Cardinals are 3-3 to the spread, while the Seahawks are 3-2. I mean, I know that the Cardinals are 1-5, but they still found a way to cover in three of those games. Um, you said Josh Dobbs wasn't the quarterback this week, or he's
He
questionable.
no, it's more of he's questionable because Kyler Murray is coming back. He's practicing again.
Oh, okay,
But I'm
okay.
I'm saying I don't care if it's Kyler Murray or Josh Dobbs. I don't think either of them has played great, and I think the Seahawks can score a lot of points on this Cardinals team, and I think they'll, put up some points on them.
I know
I like
that's
the
a.
7.5. Best
I
value you're
mean,
gonna get DraftKings. You go bet there. They're -7.
yeah, because normally when I see the 7.5, I start leaning towards the underdog in the NFL, the mine or the plus 7.5, just because of that key number. I feel like when I
Yeah,
start seeing it at 6.5, or yeah, 6.5, that's when I start looking at the favorite. Same thing around like the 3 and the 2.5. So I mean, like I could be wrong there, but I know the more I look at it, I kind of like the under in this game. I kind of feel like it's going to be close. I think like even if they put up points, I'm thinking that maybe there's a lot more turnovers. I think more in the beginning of the game. I'm not really sure if both of these teams are going to show up right away. I feel like there's going to be a lot of not really fumbles and stuff. I just feel like a lot of fourth down punts.
yeah. All right, this game I'm the most confident. This is probably my lock of the week, and Ryan's not gonna like me for this,
Oh,
but
you kid.
I mean the Rams have Cooper Kupp back. Matt Stafford's playing really well.
Oh, Matt Stafford. I know I shouldn't be talking with Kenny Pickett, but
Rams are at home and they're only -3. To me, that's like a no-brainer. I've already bet that. I'm confident in that one. I think the Rams could win by like at least 2 field goals, a touchdown. Steelers defense is inconsistent. I mean, the Ravens, even though they only put up 10 points on them, the Ravens had 8 drops in that game, and there were so many points left off the board, and they were moving up and down that field, and they had like twice as many yards as the Steelers did. Um, don't see Cooper Kupp dropping any balls, and Aaron Donald is probably going to sack Kenny Pickett like multiple times in this game. So it's a bad matchup for the Steelers, especially on the road. Ryan, tell me why I'm wrong. Is if you're a Steelers fan, are you going to go emotion here and disagree with me, or are you just going to stick with the logic where it makes the most sense?
uh, I mean, right now I kind of want to lean towards the under. I feel like the Steelers still have a rock solid defense. I still think they're going to do just enough here to make the Rams punt a couple of times. They're going to destroy themselves on offense and then give it right back. But I mean, the defense will be back out there. And I mean, I hate to say it, but it almost kind of feels like the best chance the Steelers have to score is if we get a pick six. So
Yeah, or just turnovers and have a short field.
I feel like I'm not too worried about the Steelers scoring a lot of points. I'm not too worried about the Rams scoring a lot of points because of the Steelers defense. I mean, obviously somebody's going to score a couple of times, but I just think it stays low enough to be under this. I think it's at 43 and a half, 44. Right about there. I guess
Yeah.
but either
Yeah,
way,
it's 44 in most books.
I'm probably going to take the under here. I know it's a low number, but yeah, I just don't see either team blowing each other out. I mean, even if it is a blowout, I don't see it going that high.
Can't pick against your Steelers. I get it.
Pretty much, if it's my team playing and I can't roll with them, I just look at the total.
Yep, I'm with you there. Speaking like a true NFL sports fan there. All right, Packers and Broncos, a matchup from the Super Bowl between Elway and Favre here. Yeah, definitely not as good of the quarterbacks. Russell Wilson played really bad against the Chiefs last week. Packers -1. Broncos are auto fade. Again, auto fade team for me.
No, I was going to say, you said you had a lock. This is my lock. I'm rolling with the Packers here.
Yeah.
The Broncos,
Yep,
the Broncos
exactly.
are 0-3 at home. They will not
Oh yeah,
get the job
that's a
done
good.
at home. They're going to
That's a good
leave their
point.
players crying in the locker room saying all we do is lose.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that actually happened.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos are underdogs on the money line, but barely. I mean, right now, yeah, the spread just -1. It's almost like a pick'em game, but yeah, I don't know why. I guess Jordan Love hasn't proven enough to make this a more of a.
The Packers are in a tight spot being on the road. I mean, they're expected to win this, so it's a little bit of pressure, but I just really don't see the Broncos putting it together on offense. I don't see them really putting it together on defense. I just think this is going to be a pretty bad game. Chance it goes under, but I'm going to stop throwing all these unders out. Just roll with the Packers.
You're just betting unders like last week. Everyone did the under, and so they keep putting them lower.
I mean, I'm
Keep
just
betting the
looking
under
at
until it loses.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just kind of looking into it, and it seems to be a good trend right now. I feel like a lot of these games, you're ready for the big action, you're ready for the big scoring games, and you just don't get them.
All right, next game: Chargers and Chiefs. Justin Herbert played his worst game of his career against the Cowboys last week. That was pretty painful to watch because Herbert's my guy. I think he'll bounce back. I think the Chargers cover the +5.5 here. I think the Chiefs win because they always seem to win. But their offense has not looked good this year. They're still 5-1, which is scary. The fact that Mahomes, they only put up 19 points against the Broncos. Yeah, they're big. That's a pretty big spread. I don't know. I think the Chargers can lose by like 4 points here. Still cover. You disagree with me?
I think it's going to be a really close first half, and then I think the second half is going to be the question if the Chargers can hold on. But I mean, for me, I'd probably take the Chargers +5.5. I mean, the Chiefs suck on the spread. The Chargers didn't play that well last week, so they're definitely going to show up this week, try to bounce back here. But I mean, I don't think the Chargers are going to win, but I definitely could see this turning into a field goal game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Quick go back. Side note, I forgot to mention this: the Packers and the Broncos. I took them first half under. First half under is like over/unders 21.5, 22. These two teams, statistically, are the worst offenses in the first half. They're the slowest starting offenses in the first half. They don't score a lot of points. So even though the over/under is pretty low at 21.5, 22, I threw some money on that because I think that's an interesting trend, and they're playing each other. So I think they're going into the first half. It could be like 7-3 or something really, really low. All right, game of the week for most people: Sunday Night Football. Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Dolphins are plus 2.5. They're getting 2.5 points. Kind of crazy to see that. Um, Eagles didn't play that well last week. I think Jalen Hurts bounces back. I think he plays better. I can see the Eagles defense getting some pressure on Tua because their front four is just unbelievable. And I'm not confident, but I'd lean Eagles minus 2.5. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, I'm kind of the same way. The Dolphins are going to be on the road here. They are 2-1 away, but the Eagles at home are 2-0. I mean, Eagles 5-1, Dolphins 5-1. This is definitely going to be a tough choice. They already made it pretty much a field goal game. Again, like at minus 2.5, I'm kind of leaning towards the Eagles here. I feel like they're going to pull off the win. I feel like they have that unfair 1 yard gain play. So, like, I mean, like, what can you do?
The brotherly shove.
What can you do?
Everyone says that it's unstoppable, but it's like other teams have tried and they've not been nearly as successful as the Eagles.
A lot of that's probably the talent and just who's doing it. I mean, I think the Eagles have really good offensive linemen. So, like, I mean, I feel like that just helps a lot pushing through.
And Jalen Hurts can squat over 600 pounds.
Dude, a lot of leg strength. Like that's what I mean. Like how much are the other guys squatting on the other teams trying it?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially,
I mean, look at
I think it's happened a couple times in college football already. There's been a couple teams that tried it and they were unsuccessful
look
at
at
the college
the
level.
Cowboys and the Chargers on Monday night. The Cowboys tried it on 4th and short, and Dak Prescott didn't get it. And he even said at the press conference after the game, he threw his team under the bus. Was like, they didn't brotherly shove me enough.
Poor
um,
guy.
yeah,
And the media is gonna shove him around a lot.
yeah, there it is. All right, 49ers and Vikings. This is the last game. Monday Night Football. Vikings are getting 7 points here. 49ers have some injuries. Christian McCaffrey with his oblique. Deebo Samuel's going to be out. George Kittle was a non-factor last game. Brock Purdy had his worst game of his career against the Browns.
It's a pretty easy one.
Do you think that they bounce back here and cover at 7?
Oh, absolutely. The Vikings suck. Have you seen them in prime time?
Yeah, they barely beat the Bears, like
They're
19-13 or
0-3.
something.
They're 0-3 at home. They are not
Oh
winning.
yeah, Kirk Cousins is bad at
They are
primetime
not
games.
gonna cover this game. No way. Like pretty
Yeah.
easy bet. The 49ers are gonna be undervalued because they have some injuries. I feel like they really don't need those star players to beat up on this Minnesota Vikings Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Yeah, because they still have a good defense, and Kirk Cousins is terrible in primetime games. I'm never betting Kirk Cousins again on primetime. I'm just never doing it.
And that's just a trend. That's not like a fact. Like, I mean, there's a chance he does prove us wrong, but does he play his first good primetime game right now? Or, I mean, this week? Probably not.
Well, no,
Going up against one of the best defenses in the league.
Well, to clarify, it is a fact, not just a trend, that he's bad prime time, but it's not a fact that he'll be playing bad in this game. But it's fact that he's only won, I think, 1 or 2 primetime games in his career. Something crazy. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty, 7 points, but you're right. That defense, man, I think the Vikings don't score a lot of points. I could see this being another under. What's the over-under on this game?
So listen, if Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey were in this game, I can almost guarantee you this line would be 10.5 right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So like, I think you're definitely getting some value here with it being even at 7. I mean, I think I just think the 49ers have the better defense versus the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to choke big time. I think the 49ers are going to come out, and anybody who's healthy is probably going to play well. I don't think they're going to try to get anyone in there. I don't even know, honestly, what the injuries are with McCaffrey and Deebo. I don't know if it's career ending or what.
No, it's not career ending on either case. They're probably out. I think they're out like a few weeks. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, they got like Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I mean, I'm going to roll with the 49ers here to end out the week.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. I think that's you've swayed me. I was kind of not sure because that spread seemed a little big for me, but you're right. Their star players all being healthy and said this has probably been at least 10.5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If they were all healthy, it'd be a lot bigger.
Yeah. But look at the Bills. They were minus 15, 15.5, and they barely won against the Giants. The NFL is
Yeah,
crazy sometimes.
that's where it's week to week. Um, yeah, that happens. I did not have the Bills. I didn't have the Bills in that game though.
Really?
I'm trying to remember what I had in that game because it did lose. I think I took some yards parlay. I put together a yards parlay, and I'm pretty sure it lost. I'm trying to remember now.
All right. Well, on that note,
Follow us for more picks.
as always, I have been Ryan's been really good at posting on Twitter. I have not been great, so my apologies. I got to post on Instagram my picks. Also, try to get my picks out on Twitter at Sports and Stuff. Be sure to look at Cushy's Corner, Vince's votes, and stay tuned because down the line, we've also really like NCAA football. Wow, excuse me.
College football.
Yeah, our
So,
co-host Will, longtime friend who's been MIA, he'll try to hop on potentially for an additional episodes. Maybe record those on Fridays. We're still trying to figure that out, but stay tuned for some college picks here, or at least some of our thoughts and analysis on individual matchups. And we still post some of those picks. I think Ryan, you post those on Twitter, right?
for me, I try to post bets that I think are most confident and hit. So there are times where I don't have a bet at all for a day. So like I know a lot of people aren't too happy about that. Personally, I am still betting, but I'm not going to give you guys something I'm trying. So
Yeah.
like that's where I'm having some struggle on these weekday games. But yeah, every NFL Sunday we got some picks out there from
You
Cush's
had Jacksonville State and Liberty on a poll. That was great.
Yeah, I was like, which one is better? And ironically, everybody chose Liberty, and they did not cover even close. And then Jack State did get me the cover, made it an even night.
Flipping the bird to the ref. What a guy. Yep. And on that note, till next time.
Go Astros, 5-0.